You are listening to Right Off the Bus.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 32 of Right Off the Bus. I'm Chandler Hutchison. That's Pat Mahoney, and it's Wednesday, August 4th, man. Pat, what's going on? We got another action-packed week of sports, man. I'm amped. What's going on with you, man?
How we doing? I'm 23 now. I had my birthday, but I did not do much celebrating. It was low key, which was nice because I have to do a bunch of stuff this month. Like next weekend, my brother's getting married at the end of August, so I'm going away for the whole weekend to a place where to go to the wedding, and then next weekend there's a bachelor party. So when I get out of work, I got to drive to Atlantic City. So I'm gonna be in Atlantic City this weekend. So I get a lot to do. So I was kind of like, I don't really want to do much for my birthday. So it's Saturday, Sunday, I didn't do anything. I played mini golf, like we were just talking about off air. Went to the mall, didn't do much. Went to dinner both nights, had drinks. It was good.
Man, nice and relaxing, and sometimes it's all you need. Especially, sounds like you got couple pretty crazy weekends coming up. So
yeah, so I didn't need to be doing anything crazy. Like I'll have like one off weekend in August and that'll be it.
Well, Pat, you know me, I always got to do something a little crazy. So I signed up for my first triathlon the other day, man.
I know you. I know you. I saw this and I was like, what? I was like, what a crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah, man, and I'm gonna sign up for a half marathon in October since the tries in September, man. But I was like, I just been complacent. I need something to do. I was talking to one of my bosses, he was like, "Hey, what's going on?" And apparently my response wasn't happy enough. And he was like, and I was like, you know what? I need to do something. I just need to do something. So I signed up for a sprint triathlon, man. 1/4 mile swim, 10.2 mile bike ride, 3.6 mile run. Shouldn't be too hard, but my brother's girlfriend signed up for it, man. And she goes to Soul Cycle like every week. Mm-hmm. So I know she's going to beat me during the bike ride.
Yeah, she'll be cruising.
She'll be cruising. I know I'm going to win the run. So it's just about that swim, man. It's just about
How far of a swim was it?
1/4 mile. It's 440 yards. So if you think an Olympic size swimming
that's a pretty
pool,
far swim.
Yeah, it's one length is 50 meters. So it's like 9 lengths of an Olympic pool.
That's a lot. I would be tired after just that.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do it in like 15 minutes. I have no idea how it's gonna go.
Yeah, like you see that one race that they do in the Olympics where I forget how long it is, but they go back and forth so many times. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how are you not exhausted? They're just getting so little oxygen. Like you get your head up to take that little breath in between, every half stroke.
Yeah, man, I have a feeling there's going to be some doggy paddling involved at some point. I feel like I'm going to be gassed, but
yeah, because the goal isn't to win, it's just to finish. So, whatever pace is going to get you to the finish line is the important part. And then if you want to keep doing it year after year, then you can improve.
My goal was just to finish, Pat, but then my brother's girlfriend signed up. So now
there's two goals.
Let her win.
There's two goals. You got to beat her. So you just have to keep an eye on her somehow throughout. You won't really be able to do that in the swim, but maybe on the bike in the bike and the run if she doesn't lose you on the bike.
Those dang Soul Cycle classes, man. I know I'll catch up on the run, but those dang
what order does it go? Is it
swim, bike, run?
Swim, bike, run. So swimming's first. Damn. Yep.
And then, my best event is last. So, I'm feeling all right about it. I'm feeling all right.
Do you got to take the time to like dry off after you swim, or do you just hop on? You just head out there wet, just soaking wet? I don't
even know. I'm thinking about that. Like, is there going to be a place for me to change? Do I have
are you in a bathing suit?
Do I have to wear shorts that I could swim, run, and bike in? I have no idea.
Is this like a speedo event? Like, so you're like as fast as possible, like you shave your whole body, you got the cap on.
And I don't know. I'm also thinking like, not to be sad, but this is on 9/11, this event. It's a Saturday. So I'm kind of feeling like I got to throw on like an American flag speedo.
Yeah, you got to represent. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like red, at least red, if not red, white, and blue.
Swim cap or like a speedo that's just American flag.
And and are you swimming in like a lake? Is it like a lake that you cross?
It's like the ocean. It's it's down in Hyannis on the
Cape. Oh my god, that's legit. So you're gonna have salt in your eye?
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely have goggles. I'll buy a cheap pair.
It's like, that's a good point.
It's like going out in like kind of an N, like you swim out, swim to the right, and then swim back. and then you hop on the bike and you're on your way.
So it's not
It'll
a
be
straight line. Swimming through salt is tough. That's going to be interesting.
That's gonna murder me. I know that's by far
That's going to be the toughest part. Not even just the swim, the fact that you're in salt water. So I could definitely see that.
It's gonna be cold too. It's in September, but hey, man, it's gonna be a good time. I need something to push myself, challenge myself a little bit, and
It's cold.
It's gonna be cold.
That's very cold.
I can be
oh
cold
my
for 20
god,
minutes.
northern
for 20
yeah,
minutes.
New England water is already freezing. The ocean. I don't even go in the ocean up here, so the fact that you got to swim through it. I mean, you might get used to it eventually, but damn, I don't know.
I just gotta toughen up, man. That's all it is. I just gotta, if I feel like I can be in the cold water for 15, 20 minutes.
It'll put some hair on your chest. It'll put the hair back on that you shave off to gain speed.
Gonna have to go get a Brazilian wax before I head out there.
And then that'll put the hair back on once you do that. There you go.
All right, man. Let's get on to some real athletes, Pat. This is gonna be a struggle bus for me in my triathlon. But Pat, like we said last week, man, a little weekly Olympic medal count. You want to run us through here?
I know, and we're only going to have one more week. It's funny, like in terms of doing a 1 week or one episode a week podcast, it goes quick. But China has 32 gold medals, which they're way out in front. The U.S. is, killing it. U.S. has 24. Japan's got 19. Australia jumped over the ROC. To be named as Russia. Australia has 14 gold. The ROC or Russia has 13 gold. But for the US, I don't know if you saw any of it. Caeleb Dressel was an absolute beast. Like, he reminds me of Michael Phelps. He has a similar body type. And I think he got 5 gold medals this time, which Michael Phelps did 3 times. Michael Phelps got at least 5 gold medals 3 times. And Caeleb Dressel representing for the U.S. And then we got Katie Ledecky in swimming too, which we always seem to do really well at, like swimming and gymnastics, or 2 in particular. Katie Ledecky got 2 gold, 2 silver of her own. And then in the gymnastics, we got Suni Lee and Jade Carey, who both got gold. I believe Suni Lee was the all-around individual, and then Jade Carey was the floor exercise. So we still did well without Simone Biles. And Simone did come back for the balance beam, got bronze. Good for her. But we did well without her.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And one thing I'll point out real quick, Caeleb Dressel, 24 years old. So next Olympics is going to be in 3 years because, it was pushed back a year. So 27, then he'll be 31 for the next one. This dude has a chance, man. He has a chance to be one of those all-time greats. And Katie Ledecky's already there. She's already a legendary female swimmer.
Beast.
I mean,
yep.
And also the just splits that she wins by, she just crushes people. So shout out Katie Ledecky, man. Obviously Suni and Jade Carey too.
Yeah, and I think Suni Lee's like 18 years old. So
wow,
even more impressive. We had there was one girl in the gymnastics team at the last Olympics. She was 16. I think it might have been like Lori Hernandez, but she got silver on the balance beam. She was 16 years old. So they're good young. Like Simone Biles is still wicked young, but she's the GOAT of gymnastics. So that's a sport that it's the prime is young.
Man, Pat, I know we said it the other week, but what were we doing at 16, man?
Yeah, exactly. Gosh. Not competing in Tokyo or Rio or London. None of those. That's for sure.
In the middle of a pandemic.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. But yeah, man, it stinks, man. The Olympics are ending on Sunday the 8th, so we only get one more medal count on the show, and normally the U.S. is right up there. The U.S. may win on total gold or total medals, but gold's it's looking like China is thoroughly dominating.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think if we'll even get 8 events where we win gold left. I mean, we hopefully will win gold in basketball, men's basketball. But besides that, I don't know what's left because the women's soccer, which we can usually count on for at least a silver, they bounced and they're going to be in the bronze game. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll be able to even catch China at this point, but we'll still be probably second. The gap was pretty significant.
Now, Pat, I have a serious question for you that sounds like I'm coming off like an ass, but I promise I'm not. Should some Olympic medals count for more than others? I don't want to disrespect anyone, man. But there's a sport in here called dressage, and it's horse dancing. They walk around slowly and pick their feet up, and someone wins a gold medal for that. The horse doesn't win. A country wins a gold medal for that. versus a basketball tournament or a soccer tournament that you have to win game after game after game against top talent in the world. And I mean, I think like the swimming events absolutely should count all this stuff, but like some of these sports, I really don't. I feel like the medals should be weighted differently. I feel like there should be a scale. Am I wrong
Yeah,
for
no,
feeling that way?
I've had those thoughts before, and where I'm like, this one's definitely more significant than this one. Like in the Olympics, I feel like gymnastics medals have grown; they matter a lot. Swimming is another one at the pinnacle. Basketball, but yeah, these other smaller ones are a little obscure, and they, at least to me, don't matter as much. Like
Air
winning,
rifle.
yeah, honestly, it's kind of funny with the precision shooting. Those are pretty funny. But yeah, I would say winning gold in like men's basketball is more significant than winning in the precision shooting.
And obviously,
As
I'm
cool
just
as it is, I mean, you got the
yeah.
guys with their right hands in their pocket and they're shooting with their left. I mean, they look sick. It's awesome. And at the end of the day, you still want a gold medal, but
Right.
it might not be as impressive to us.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously, I'm biased towards this area, but I'm an endurance sport fan. And I think that winning the Olympic triathlon versus the rest of the best, like, three-tier athletes, swim, run, bike,
Mhm.
like, winning that to me should just be worth more than other things. And again, I'm obviously biased. We all have our biases against certain things and for certain things, but like,
Yeah,
man, I think it's a legit conversation that some sports should medal differently. I think it's a
mhm.
legit conversation.
I agree.
All right, Pat, let's move on, man. And of course, the U.S. men's basketball, they beat Spain 95-81 to advance to the semifinal. And Pat, of course, this game, like we talked about last week, tough to watch, Pat. 12:40 a.m. Eastern time. That would be 3:40 a.m. West Coast Pacific time, man. Couldn't watch it. Woke up, saw that we won,
Mhm.
absolutely amped. And I mean, I think that everyone did panic. I think there was some panic set in about this US men's
Yeah, I
basketball
definitely
team.
panicked on like a couple weeks ago. I was like, this is terrible. It was not a good
Mhm.
situation.
Yeah, it was not, and it definitely tough to see, but solid win. But man, Ricky Rubio dropping 38 points on the men's team. I just wanted to shout out Ricky Rubio. Poor guy was traded to Cleveland while he's playing over in Spain last week. I mean, sorry, for Spain in Tokyo last week. But man, good game. KD led the team in scoring. Tatum did his thing. And I'll shout out KD real quick. He's now the all-time leader for the U.S. men's team in Olympic scoring. Thought it was a great press conference afterwards. He said, "Next guy up right here, Jason Tatum. He thinks he's going to break his record." But I think we did all overreact, Pat. And I
A
mean,
little bit.
what is your read on this? You feeling solid going into these final two games? The U.S. is playing Australia, and then on the other side, it's France, Slovenia. It's the final four. So I'm feeling good.
Yeah, and France, what it wasn't, or it isn't what it once was. I feel like it's gonna come down to U.S. versus Slovenia, and I really do because I hope it's a Luca. That's a final where well, I still won't be able to watch it because it's on so damn late. But I'll catch the full highlights of it, and that would be a good game because I think I saw a post from Luca today or yesterday, and it said a country of 2 million people, and we're playing for a medal, so it's awesome to see. And I really hope that's the matchup. But we beat the number 2 ranked in the country, or sorry, not in the country. We beat the number 2 ranked country in the world
Mhm.
in Spain. And yeah, I did panic at the beginning of the tournament and even before in the exhibition games. But now I'm feeling we're probably right where we should be, and I just don't see us losing. I think we'll get gold, no matter who we play, even if it is Luca.
Yeah, I think France is a better team than Slovenia, but it's that Luka magic, man. I would love to see them. I think the U.S. handles Australia. They did in the exhibitions beforehand. But man, best case scenario for me as a fan is the U.S. wins. And I'd still like a nice 15, 20 point win, but Luka drops like 50. Like just absolutely dominate, show them US boys what Euroball is all about. It would be fun to watch.
Yeah, that would be nice.
And I will say, man, I made a bet with my coworker Glenn. Glenn said, "I don't think they're even going to medal." I was like, "Come on, Glenn. You don't think the US is going to medal?" He said, "I don't think they're going to medal." And Glenn, his drink is Coors Light. I work at a liquor store. And I said, "Glenn, I will bet you a case of Coors Light that the US men's team wins gold. Not that they even medal. I bet you a
That
case
they win gold.
that they win gold." And that's the bet, man. So, that like $28 or whatever is riding on is riding on this win. So I'm pulling for the US here pretty
I
heavily for sure.
I think you'll be locking up that bet. And I mean, that was ballsy to take it gold medal versus not medaling at all. So that is a pretty wide gap. But I have confidence in your bet, definitely, in your side of it.
Feeling good, Pat. I'm feeling good. Now, a team that should not be feeling good moving on in these headlines, Pat. The Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
Take us through the mass
I know.
exodus, man.
Well, regardless of prospects that they got, and they did get some in return from the Mets and the Giants and the Yankees, but and for Craig Kimbrell as well, they got a good pitcher back.
Mm-hmm.
But they got rid of Anthony Rizzo, Javier Baez, and Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant to the Giants, Baez to the Mets, Rizzo to the Yankees, and then Kimbrell got dealt afterwards to the White Sox, who is pretty much the best closer in baseball right now. He has a .49 ERA with 23 saves and 25 opportunities, which is unbelievable. He has a resurgence. So him actually makes the most sense to me why they would get rid of him, because he's on a resurgence. They've seen that he's gone in a downswing before. They probably want to get rid of him while they can get maximum quality back for him, which is exactly what they did. And that would make the most sense to me. But then they got rid of three staples of their team who have been staples for a while now: Rizzo, Baez, and Bryant. And then what do? They go to those three other teams, the Yankees, the Mets, the Giants, and they all homered in their debut for those teams. All of them hit a home run, which I think it said was the first time something like that's ever been done in the modern era, which is, I mean, it is ridiculous. You get rid of them, and then all of a sudden they just gel perfectly and they hit a home run. And honestly, the weirdest part about the trades is that all three of these guys like make sense to me on these teams. They seem to fit with those. Like, I could easily, you say Rizzo on the Yankees made a lot of sense to me. Baez on the Mets made a lot of sense. And then seeing Chris Bryant in a Giants uniform, like, it wasn't weird to me at all. I'm sure for Cubs fans it's weird, but as an outsider, it was not weird at all. Like, I could easily see those.
Yeah, dude, I just feel bad for Chicago Cubs fans. Like, for me, I was thinking about this and I'm like, man, imagine if the Red Sox just traded away Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, JD Martinez, and Chris Sale. Like, dude, I would boycott the team, man. I would have such a hard time. And I know that it was time for all these guys to move on, but this is just tough to see as a baseball fan. And also moving Kimbrell to the White Sox, I hated that because I'm like, you just ship them across town. I mean,
to another Chicago team.
Yeah, dude. That just doesn't sit right. That feels like trading a player to the Yankees for me. But I mean, obviously it's different. But yeah, for me, I'm just feeling for Cubs fans because it's going to be a rebuild now, and there's no other option.
Most players from their World Series team are pretty much gone now. I mean, Schwarber was already gone, and then you got all these guys gone. Baez wasn't on the team, but neither was Kimbrell. But Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo were two staples. So all these guys that they once had were gone.
Yeah. Hey, and I was thinking too about the Nationals, man. They deal Scherzer and Turner to the Dodgers, and you lose Harper the year before, and Ryan Zimmerman's gone. And I'm like, wow, the Nationals did it too. And
Scherzer to the Dodgers is crazy. The Dodgers are gonna have a crazy rotation,
especially if they get Bauer back at any point, man. It'd be unbelievable.
I forgot about that. I forgot that even happened.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year, man. And Pat, little NFL news and little soccer before we get on to this crazy week of free agency and trades in the NBA. But Carson Wentz announced out 5 to 12 weeks foot surgery, and it turns out Quentin Nelson needs like a very similar surgery, which stinks because he's the best offensive lineman in football. Well, interior offensive lineman, at least. I would probably still go best. How did this happen again, Pat? Carson Wentz, my man. This
tough for the Colts.
This is tough to watch, man. I feel so bad.
It's tough for the Colts. Very tough. And I'm curious how long, with 5 to 12 weeks as a time window, how long of that they'll take. Do they take their time and leave it up to Carson, and maybe they take the full 12 weeks, or if we'll see how they're doing if they're desperate to get him back in after just like 6 of those weeks. So I'm very curious to see what they do with Wentz and how they want to manage him, because they banked on him to have a resurgence in his career, but he's not going to do that, I don't think, if he's partly injured coming off surgery.
Yeah, man. And I said it to you. This is his last stop before he's a backup in the NFL. And this is tough because if he's legitimately out 2/3 of the season, I mean, you can't move forward with this guy. And this team is built to plug and play any quarterback, man. I mean, Philip Rivers did it. They could put anyone
Yeah,
in
and
there. They have a great offensive line. They have a great defense. They have decent receivers, man. Like anyone, this is such a good situation. Great coaching
yeah.
staff. Your former coach of your almost MVP season, man. Tough, tough, tough to see.
And what's funny is I saw Nick Foles saying he thinks he's better now than he was when he won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, and he was saying they were asking him about a move to the Colts, like thinking like he could go start there. Imagine if Foles followed Wentz to Indianapolis after what happened in Philly, and then not won a Super Bowl but just took over the starting job. That to me would be well, obviously worst case scenario for Carson, but that would be some irony. That would be funny.
That would be just total mental depreciation for Carson Wentz. I don't know if he could ever come back if that happened.
Foles just dominating this man's career.
Oh, dude, literally in his head rent free. That'd be terrible.
Rent free.
All right, Pat, little soccer news here. We'll go with the loss first. So the U.S. women's national team loses 1-0 to Canada, man, in the semifinals, the Final Four. Megan Rapinoe after the game said, I don't think I've even ever lost to Canada. She hasn't, which is crazy. She's like 36 or whatever. But, I will say the U.S. women's team has some old players, man. There is an old guard that is still prominent on this team. And when you see 35, 36, and 38-year-old players getting subbed in, I know it's a different game in the women's game. It's tough. And I'm kind of feeling like maybe for the next World Cup, maybe for the next Olympics, it may be a new guard. It could be the Rose Lavelle's taking over. It could be the Duns taking over. And Alex Morgan will still be there. She's in her early 30s, but it sucks to see. But Rapinoe, Carly Lloyd, some of those players, they might not be around on this next team.
Yeah, it seems like we're kind of in a transition stage where we're not at our peak skill right now. And some of the other countries are catching up. I mean, women's sports are developing in other countries, especially women's soccer. And a lot of these other teams are getting better. Canada, Netherlands, Brazil's been good. France is always a player. England's always good. So a lot of these teams are getting much better and catching up and closing the skill gap. So I think we do still have, the pound for pound best women's soccer team on the planet, but the gap is closing. And if we don't play at our best and we're in the middle of a phase like this, transitioning from a older generation to a new one, yeah, of course we're probably going to lose and we're not going to win gold medal. We still have a shot at bronze, which is fine. It's more than most countries can say.
Absolutely, man. I'm here for the bronze. And, Pat, now moving on to probably the best soccer team in the world at this point, the U.S. men's national team. Of course, I'm just joking there, but man, a month ago, they win Nations League. The other night, they win Gold Cup over Mexico. They beat Mexico in 2 finals where Mexico had better rosters both times. This was probably the U.S. men's team C+ roster versus Mexico's A- roster. They weren't missing many guys. They were missing Raul Jimenez. They were missing Chucky Lozano. They were missing a couple guys. You still had your captain Hector Herrera, who starts in the midfield for Atletico Madrid. You still have Tecatito, Jesus Corona at Napoli, man. You still have these phenomenal players versus a very, very young U.S. men's team.
Very young.
And I got to tell you, man, watching this team win, and I'll tell you why it was so sweet. Miles Robinson, our center back that scores the game-winning header in the 116th minute or something?
It was late.
Super late. Was buried on the bench at Atlanta United a couple of years ago when Tata Martinez was the Atlanta United manager, who's now managing the Mexican national team. He was our starting center back who scored the game winner. Our starting left back, George Bello, buried on the bench as a U.S. international on the Atlanta United roster. Beat their former manager, man. It felt
that's
so
some nice
good
irony.
to watch.
Yeah, that's some nice irony.
One of my favorite stories, man. And you see Miles Robinson score that goal. That dude wanted to take his shirt off so bad. His teammates just wrapped him up too fast. He was ready, dude. He was ready.
Well, yeah, I'm very excited for the national team. We're so young. We're going to be good for the next, 10 years. And I think we're only going to get better. And again, just like the gaps closing with our women's team and the rest of the world, the gaps closing between the rest of the world and our men's team. So on both fronts, but for the men's, obviously it's more positive because we're getting better and closer to the skill level of countries that are way far ahead of us.
Yeah, and I will say too, the fact that they're also winning finals, that experience is ridiculous and invaluable. And the fact that they are both against Mexico makes it so much sweeter because there's no one else in this part of the world that can compete.
Yeah, it's
And
the toughest team we'll face in this part of the world, so it gets them ready. You're right.
Pat, I will say one more thing, man. No Pulisic, no Reyna, no Adams, McKennie, Steffen, Dest, Brooks, Robinson. Off the top of my head, those are 8 guaranteed starters for the U.S. men's national team.
Hmm.
And none of them playing. It was great to watch, man. And also, Matt Turner, shout out Matt Turner, man. So glad the Revs are getting him back. I think 5 clean sheets in 6 games. Only goal he allowed was a penalty. Matt Turner played out of his mind, locked down that second spot on the U.S. team, and I honestly think he should be competing for the first with Steffen. Sounds crazy. I know he's at City. I think Turner has a chance to compete for that starting spot.
Hmm. And like you're alluding to, I think depth is going to be one of our best. That's going to be one of the best parts of our team going forward. Is that maybe we don't have the most talented players in the world, which we are getting there, but the amount of players who are very good is getting more prominent, and like all the way through the starting 11, through the bench and sub options. I think everyone's going to be quality and be able to put in good minutes on the pitch. So I'm excited for that. That'll definitely be one of the best parts of the team.
I think that's very well said, Pat. Now, time to move on. Little ball don't lie, dude. There's going to be a lot of NBA this episode, guys. It's going to take
A
up
lot
the
of
majority of
basketball.
the show. First, we just want to touch on the NBA draft real quick, spend a couple minutes on it, Pat. Figured we'd just run through a couple of top picks, talk about some guys we like. Obviously, it was locked in for a while. Number 1 pick, Cade Cunningham out of Oklahoma State, 6'8". I don't know where they're going to play him, man, but it's going to be at the 1, it's the 2, it's the 3.
He
He
can
is a
play.
ball.
Yeah.
It's
With the
ball
Pistons,
dominant forward.
yeah, with the Pistons, they could play him anywhere. It's like, I mean, at that point, I think for the Pistons, you're willing to replace anyone in that starting lineup. So Cade
Yeah,
Cunningham, I mean, it's an open book. They could play him wherever he wants to play most, probably.
absolutely. And the thing that I fear for Cade Cunningham is simply that he's in Detroit. The best free
Yeah,
agent that they've signed is Kelly Olynyk. I mean, you got Jeremy Grant there averaging 20, but to me, Cade Cunningham gets a lot of unfair comparisons to LeBron James right now because he's 6'8" and does a little bit of everything.
hmm,
Unless he has that kind of impact, like you need him to come in and average 25 and 5. And that's such a ridiculous expectation of a rookie in today's NBA.
yeah.
And I want him to succeed so bad, but it's a very, very tough situation. And I think we need to temper our expectations on Cade Cunningham a little bit. I don't think that he's going to come in and average 25 and 5. I think we need to temper it and kind of let him play through the bumps and the bruises because not going to be an easy transition in Detroit.
I think he'll have good stats in Detroit. Maybe personal stats, anyways. Maybe not assists, but like points and rebounds. But Detroit, I mean, yeah, they're not gonna have a good record. They're not gonna have a good record for a while. It's gonna take a lot. They're gonna have to keep adding pieces, and that'll be good for them if they can keep drafting high draft picks and manage to put it together. And if Cade Cunningham can deliver and stay, they do. There could be a plan in place, but yeah, I agree with you. It's going to be tough for him there. He could do okay stat wise, but that's again not the most important thing. It's you want to develop him and you want to figure out where you can play him and what works and how they can build their offense from there.
I like it. I like it, man. Moving on. Number 2, Houston Rockets draft Jalen Green. I believe he's the first G League draftee out of this new G League program. I love it. This dude is an elite athlete, Pat. He's going to jump out the gym. I really like him next to Kevin Porter Jr. I think that's going to be a really exciting guard duo, Christian Wood. And again, the Rockets have no expectation of being good next year. They just signed Daniel Tice to be their center next to Christian Wood. It's not going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a team where the young guys are going to get to run. They're going to get to fly. They're going to get to score a lot of points and do their thing. And it's an opportunity for growth. I like Jalen Green a lot. I don't quite know what his comparison would be, but I think Jalen Green has a chance to be a pretty darn good player in the NBA.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, but I agree being at the Rockets could be a best case scenario for him. Not a lot of expectations, like you said. He's going to get plenty of playing time. And I think when you're just coming into the league, best playing time's the best thing you can ask for, especially coming out of this G League too.
Yeah, man. And a guy that I think is going to have a little bit of trouble with playing time, drafted 3rd to the Cavs, Evan Mobley out of USC. Mobley, great pick. I think he's going to be a really great pro. But the Cavs just signed Jarrett Allen to a 5-year, $110 million extension. So you put all your chips in on Jarrett Allen to be your center. Does that mean you want Mobley to be your 4? This guy's 7 foot with a 7'5" wingspan. He's an athlete and he can play a little bit of everywhere.
Mhm.
But I don't love him playing at the 4. It would happen in some, 10 years ago in the NBA. It's a different league now. I don't know if I love the pick. I love it if they didn't just lock up Jarrett Allen. That's what I'll say, because I think this kid's going to be really darn good. I would have taken him over Jalen Green personally if I was the Houston Rockets.
Yeah, and Jared Allen got paid too.
Yeah,
He got
man.
paid to be the center. So I
It's
don't
too much money this offseason.
so I don't know. You're right. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with Mobley.
Yep. I'm with you there, dude. Toronto Raptors, they draft Scotty Barnes out of Florida State, man. This was a surprise, Pat. I really did think that they were gonna go with a guard to put next to Fred VanVleet, but this guy, he's super versatile, very athletic, and I mean he has a motor. That's the kind of guy you need up in Toronto right now. They kind of need a wing, small forward, and honestly, it's one of those things. Let's see how they develop him. Nick Nurse has a great track record of developing these guys. He has a similar build to Pascal Siakam. I'm not going to go too far on the judgment on this pick yet, just because I like what Toronto does when it comes to developing guys. So, it's kind of a shaky build here, but I'm not too mad at it.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they anticipated getting rid of Kyle Lowry, because if they planned on keeping him, then a forward makes a lot of sense. But otherwise, yeah, drafting a guard to replace Kyle Lowry and develop next to VanVleet would have been smart. But again, it's kind of an open book situation. I think they can develop him however they want. I think he's got a lot of potential. So I do like the pick for them in the end. They'll just have to find someone else to play a guard and fill in for Lowry.
Absolutely, dude. And number 5, Orlando Magic, Jalen Suggs, Pat. I said it on this podcast during the tournament. I thought Jalen Suggs should have been the first pick in this draft over Cade Cunningham. 6'4", so great on both ends, great defender, does not turn the ball over much. But here's my problem. You took Cole Anthony last year. If you're the Orlando Magic, you re-signed Markelle Fultz last year. It's a crowded point guard room. And honestly, I think Jalen Suggs is the kind of guy that is a 15-year NBA point guard. He's 6'4", does a little of everything. I think he's going to be around a long time, average 15 and 9 assists for a long time. I like the fit. If they let him take the reins, it's going to be hard. It's a crowded point guard room, man. It's tough.
It is tough. And they lost Vucevic last season. So, I mean, there's vacancies at other positions, and they went with another guard. And, as everyone thought, I didn't think Jalen Suggs was going to be available at 5. So I think in that situation, no matter what, you probably can't pass on that opportunity, which is why I get why they did it. But yeah, to your point, it's a crowded position. I don't know how they're going to work it in. I don't know if they'll try to move someone over to shooting guard. I could see Jalen Suggs sliding over to shooting guard on occasion, but again, is that a guy you want to? A guy like Jalen Suggs, who has more potential at this point than Markelle Fultz, I think. Markelle Fultz had a ton of potential coming into the league, but then had the whole issue with couldn't shoot and injury. So I don't know what they're going to do with Jalen Suggs.
Me neither, Pat. But let's move on, man. And I'm just going to run through the rest of this top 10 real quick. Yeah. Josh Giddey out of Adelaide to the Thunder. Interesting pick, man. He played in the NBL in Australia. He's 18, but you take a 6'8" point guard. That's something you can mess around with. You can work around with. I love a project like that. The Warriors, a lot of fans are mad that they didn't trade the pick and get some vets around Curry. But you take Jonathan Kuminga, 6'8" wing, does a little bit of everything. Another G League player, so very raw. It's going to be interesting to see his fit into the NBA. The Magic with the 8th pick again, you get Franz Wagner, who I believe is Mo Wagner's brother. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he is. He's an absolute shooter. It's a nice fit. Again, the Magic roster, there's a lot left to be figured out there.
A lot of young potential.
Yeah, no, it is, man. And I mean, I feel like between the Suggs pick and the Wagner pick, I mean, I don't hate where they're going.
No.
But again, a lot left to figure out on that roster. You don't have Vucevic anymore.
Yeah.
You don't have Aaron Gordon. It's a new guard, man. New guard.
Orlando is just a tough franchise to even comprehend. They have it seems just doomed for failure all the time. I need to see a successful. I need to see like a Shaq and Penny Hardaway, prime run in that franchise again. Because for now, I mean, it just seems like it's going to be a bottom of their barrel franchise for a long time, even with great draft picks like this. I mean, they had the 5 and the 8th pick, so I don't know.
Penny Hardaway is one of my favorite players all time.
Absolutely,
love that guy. Yeah, who knows what's gonna happen there, man? Number 9, Sacramento Kings, Davion Mitchell. Everyone was making memes of this guy because he wears the same number as Donovan Mitchell, and you see D. Mitchell on the back of the jersey. Well, is at Baylor? He led Baylor to a national championship. He was the best player on the team, absolute stud. He's a point guard. So, it's kind of like you draft a backup with the 9th overall pick. You got De'Aaron Fox. I'm interested to see what they do there. And then just rounding out the top 10, Zaire Williams, forward out of Stanford to the Grizz. I like it. 6'10", does a lot. He can shoot. I mean, spot us, whatever. He moves like crazy. And he's boys with Bronny. He played at Sierra Canyon. He's got that relationship with D Wade and LeBron. So maybe the Grizzlies get a few more eyes on him.
Not a bad point. Not a bad point.
Always got to find a way to work LeBron in there. But Pat, we got to move on to the NBA free agency and trade whirlwind. Of course, we're going to run through a lot of these quick, but a lot of them we got to spend some time on, like this top one, man. First,
today was day 2. It was only
right?
day 1. Most of this happened in day 1, which is insane.
And I'm sure there's going to be some what we've missed, of course, as there always is.
And that was going to be a point. I was like, with day 1 just happening, I mean, we're going to miss so much. So be ready for that. There will be a lot throughout the week that we'll probably mention next week.
Now, even though we probably should be starting with the Celtics, they weren't too busy, so we're going to talk about them last.
It was sad.
But let's talk about their biggest rival, the Lakers, man. Russell Westbrook traded to the Lakers. Man, Kyle Kuzma, KCP, Montrezl Harrell, and picks to the Wizards. So that Wizards roster is looking pretty darn funky. But the Lakers aren't done. They go out and sign Dwight Howard, Trevor Ariza, Wayne Ellington, and Kent Bazemore, who have all played for the Lakers in the past. This is Dwight Howard's 3rd stop there. And then I'm like, oh man, they can't have any roster spots left. Kendrick Nunn, Carmelo Anthony, Malik Monk. They're not stopping, man. And
no.
I thought that they weren't adding enough shooters, but you add Ariza, Ellington, Bazemore, Nunn, Melo, Monk. Those are all shooters.
They're going for it. They are definitely going for it.
And you have that like up to like 13, 14 guy depth where you can rest some of the older players.
Mm-hmm.
The spacing with this team is going to be the problem, but I expect Anthony Davis to play a lot more center this year than he did last year. And man, the spacing is going to be weird with Russell Westbrook and LeBron James on the court at the same time.
It's going to take a lot of pressure off Anthony Davis, which is good. Russ can hopefully facilitate a lot. They don't need him to shoot on that team. I mean, at all. But if he's there for points or rebounds and assists, he's going to get a lot of triple doubles still. But if he can average 11 points a game, but then he's dropping triple doubles all the time, that's all they need out of him. He's that bona fide 3rd piece that they needed. And I do kind of see this as a win-win for both the Wizards and the Lakers. Because I think the Lakers got what they wanted, a superstar, a 3rd piece that can get them there. But the Wizards also got, 2 decent players in Kuzma and was it Harrell?
Yep.
And then they got 2 first-rounders too. So they were never going to win anything with Russell Westbrook. I mean, they were the 8 seed, something like that this year. So that was what they accomplished with Russ and Bradley Beal. And now they keep Bradley Beal, most likely, and they just get some picks for the future. So I think that was the direction they needed to go in rather than they're not in win now mode by any means with who they had in Russell and Bradley Beal, because Bradley Beal wanted out too, and Westbrook did as well. So with everyone wanting out, this was probably the best move. They got as much value out of Westbrook as they could have.
Right, and the real win here is getting rid of Russell Westbrook's contract. The Lakers, I can't imagine how far over the luxury tax are going to be. Russ is making 40, LeBron's making 35, AD's making 35. It's going to be an interesting contract situation there.
Definitely.
And Pat, little tidbit that you put on here. New Lakers longest tenured player?
Yeah, 3 years. He's the longest tenured player in the Lakers.
LeBron? That's crazy.
Absolutely. It's LeBron. I know it's LeBron because you think about AD got there after LeBron, and now who else is left? I mean,
Kuzma's gone.
Caruso's gone. Yeah. Caruso's gone, and everyone's gone. Kuzma's gone. Yeah, it's LeBron. He's the longest tenured player there. It's funny when LeBron goes somewhere, and the entire organization just forms around him. Within, he goes to LA, and within 3 years, everyone else is gone besides him. It's all new players.
That is pretty nuts, man.
Whatever it takes, I guess. Whatever it takes. I wonder if that's the spoiler alert for the new the new Space Jam movie. He he goes to the Toon Squad, and then it's just an exodus. Like Lola Bonnie gets fired, and she gets traded.
Lola can't play anymore. She rolls her ankle. They're like, you're out. Like Tweety Bird gets a little nick on the wing. You're done.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, LeBron comes in. He's like, all right, everyone's gone. We're getting, we're calling in the Monstars to get one into to the Toon Squad.
That would be Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant would be joining the Monstars.
He'd be the villain. Yeah, he'd be the villain.
Man, we'll fly through this one. Jonas Valanciunas gets traded. And I mean, number 17 and 51 to the Pelicans in the draft. They get Steven Adams, Eric Bledsoe, 10th, 40th, and another first-round pick. This was just kind of dump Bledsoe and Adams contracts. Valanciunas is a better fit next to Zion Williamson than Steven Adams, and he can space the floor a little more, play offensively a little more.
Definitely.
So I like that. Don't need to talk about that one anymore. Kyle Lowry leaves Toronto, sign and trade to the Heat. 3 years, $90 million. It's Goran Dragic, Precious Achiuwa, and a pick going back. Man, this is weird to me. Kyle Lowry's 35 years old. I mean, do we call this a big three? Is Lowry, Butler, Bam a big three? Lowry's 35. You want to pay 38-year-old Kyle Lowry $30 million? That's tough for me, man. That's tough.
And then they do have two other good pieces in Duncan Robinson and Tyler Harrow. So, but like you're saying, a big three. I mean, they are a 4 seed at best. I feel like I'm being generous. I think 4th or 6th seed is accurate for the Heat, regardless of the moves they just made. Yeah, it's a big three, but not really.
And man, Jimmy Butler, 4-year, $185 million deal. That blew my mind when I got that Woj bomb or Shams bomb or whoever tweeted it out, man. That is absurd money.
It's a lot.
What is that, $46 million a year? Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, and he's very good, but do you want to pay him that much? No, he's not. He's not like the superstar that you build your team around, He's another piece for sure, but he's not the superstar. He's not the guy. Definitely not.
Man. And then obviously you mentioned Duncan Robinson, back 5 years, $90 million. PJ Tucker signs 2 years.
Yep, PJ Tucker as well.
I like that fit for them, but
yeah, Heat were busy.
Heat were very busy, man. Another team that's been busy as all heck is the Chicago Bulls.
And for the better. The Bulls are looking nice.
Yeah, man. So we got a couple moves. So Lonzo Ball to the Bulls. It's a sign and trade for Thomas Satoransky, Garrett Temple, and a second rounder. So it's just let's move some pieces to make the salary work. 4 years, $85 million, which honestly I don't think is overpaying for Lonzo. He had career highs in field goal percentages, 3-point percentage, all this stuff. He had a great year. He averaged like 14, like 8 assists or something. Great with Zion. I'm going to miss watching those lobs to Zion. But you got Lonzo, man. You do a sign and trade for Thad Young and a first-round pick for DeMar DeRozan, who signs a 3-year, $85 million deal. You sign Caruso to the bench. But now, man, you're looking at this team. You got Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. That's not bad.
Not bad. And then you got Lauri Markkanen, Lonzo Ball, Nikola Vucevic, who is really good. Vucevic is really good. I mean, that is
all-star in the East.
Yeah, that is a good starting lineup. And then you got, although I don't know if Markkanen to be in the starting lineup, but regardless, you got Caruso and Markkanen coming off the bench, and then you got that starting lineup. That's a lot better than they were. They're actually a contender in the East now. They're probably not going to win a championship with the other teams that are out there, but they're going to compete.
But they improved surprisingly more than anyone would have guessed that they would. I mean, DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball.
Yeah,
that is a huge offseason for the Chicago Bulls.
I never would have seen it coming. Coming into free agency, I did not think the Bulls would be that busy whatsoever.
Also, look at the size of this lineup: 6'6", 6'6", 6'7", 7 feet, 7 feet. Whew. That was a big boy lineup right there.
Yeah, small ball gonna have a tough time against them. You won't be able to play small ball against the Bulls.
And let's move on. Chris Paul opts out of a $44 million player option. Everyone's like, what are you doing? Just so he could get that long-term bread, man.
Mhm.
Chris Paul, 4 years, 120 mil to the Suns. I think this is an overpay, but for the culture of the team, for everything they're doing, for what he's meant to this franchise, getting them to that finals, I'm not mad that they did it. And honestly, Chris Paul, he's made over 400 million now off of NBA contracts. Go get your bag,
It's
CP.
crazy.
State Farm's probably paying him millions too.
Yeah, State Farm's probably paying him more. They're probably paying him more than all those contracts combined, to be honest with you. Over the amount of time he's been doing it, he's probably made bank off State Farm. But
He plays multiple characters. He plays
he does.
Cliff too, you know?
Cliff and Chris, yeah. Plays there you go. They're paying him for 2 characters, 2 roles. But I heard that he was gonna look elsewhere in free agency. Like he was gonna opt out and try to go somewhere else. But then the Suns made the finals and he was like, wow, I guess we work well as a team and I could stick around.
Mhm.
So prior to making the finals, he might have looked elsewhere, but now because of how well they did, he thinks, I might as well stay here, come back. And it was a good atmosphere. He liked D-Book and he liked all the guys. So yeah, I think it's a good fit. He liked the coach too. He liked Monty Williams.
I will say too, I think that the fact that D Book gets 4 more years of CP mentorship, as well as DeAndre Ayton, Mikal Bridges, all these young guys, that is massive, and you can't put a price on that. What Chris Paul did for this team in this franchise in this city, you cannot put a price on. So I think it's worth every penny, even though as a player, that 3rd and 4th year of that contract is going to be pretty bad when you think
Definitely.
about production.
And I wondered actually before the Westbrook trade, I wondered, if the Lakers would go out and get the Banana Boat crew together because they just got Melo for a year too. It would have been LeBron, Melo, and then CP3 at the point. They only would have been missing Dwayne Wade. That would have been it.
You need pull him out of retirement, man. There's no way he still can't play 10 minutes a night. Come on.
He could go from hosting that game show to just coming back to the Lakers, getting garbage minutes on the Lakers, playing like 3 minutes a game. Just to have the Banana Boat, and they're in a yellow jersey. It's like it fits perfect.
Dude, they would have to do a Banana Boat photo shoot like for media day. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, they 100% would. They would milk that. That's all SportsCenter would post.
Oh, dude, I can't even imagine. All right, Pat. Mike Conley re-signs with the Jazz, 3 years, $72.5 million. I loved Conley's fit on the Jazz. I think this was his opportunity to make the most money. This is his last big contract in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And I love his fit next to Donovan Mitchell. I think that they play very well together. So I like this move for the Jazz a lot.
Yeah, me as well. It made the most sense. I mean, obviously, I didn't expect Conley to go anywhere else. Staying with the Jazz worked perfect last season. They were number 1 in the West. Why not do it again?
Yeah, man. And it's just more point guard news. Dinwiddie nearing a deal with the Wizards. So that's going to be the Wizards' new point guard. You look at a lineup maybe of Dinwiddie, Beal, Deni Ajiva, Rui Hachimura, Kyle Kuzma, Thomas Bryant. They got some pieces. It's not going to be great, but it's not going to be terrible. It could be worse. I love Spence Dinwiddie. Considering
the draft picks, it's a pretty solid team.
Yep. And then, dude, Shai Gilgeous. Let's get into some extensions real quick. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 5-year, $172 million max rookie contract extension with the Thunder. Honestly, I think he earned every penny of it. I think Shai is going to be a star in this league. It's tough to be a star in Oklahoma City. You get another piece or two there. I love what Shai Gilgeous has done. And no one sings his praises like John Calipari, man. He loves this kid in Kentucky on, but I think this kid is special. He's still so young. I can't imagine he's over 23 yet. And I think we're going to see a lot more out of the career of Shai Gilgeous, and I think he's going to go earn this contract.
I agree. And on that Thunder team, he's going to be the guy until they get more pieces. So definitely.
And then Pat, Trae Young, 5-year,
no surprise,
$207 million designated rookie max. $40 million a year for Ice Trae, dude. What do you think on this deal?
No surprise. What else could you say? He earned every penny of that one too.
He did, man, and he's so much fun to watch. You see that guy in whatever league it was the other day talking trash to him. He hits the game-winning 3, and
exactly,
like the league or whatever.
Yeah.
Trae means so much to the city of Atlanta. I already said it. He's the best Hawk of all time. I don't care about no Bob Pettit, Dominique Wilkins. If you say Al Horford, I'm not having the conversation with you in the first place. Trae Young is the best Hawk of all time. And
already
earning this
That's a bold statement.
Already, dude. I said it when Joe Hagan. I said it when Joe Hagan filled in for you, man. Dominique Wilkins never got to a conference finals. Never once in his career.
This is true.
Bob Pettit played in the 60s. I don't want to hear it.
Back when Doc Rivers played. And they have what?
Yeah.
Spud Webb.
Yeah, on those 80s teams. Doc Rivers, all-time assist leader for the Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young's probably going to break that in, who knows, 5-6 years.
Yeah, it probably won't even take long.
Norman Powell, back with the Blazers, 5-year, $90 million extension. Norman Powell is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. Dude can give you 20 every single night. I like this deal for the Blazers, but now you have 3 guards making like almost max money. And I don't think these 3 fit together. I think in the next year or so, if Damian Lillard isn't traded, then I think CJ McCollum's gone or Norman Powell's gone. Because how do you pay 3 guys that are 6'3", 6'4", and 6'5", a combined $100 million on a season? It's hard to do.
Yeah, I very well see either Dame or CJ going somewhere else. I very well see that happening. And that could be what we missed.
Yeah, probably. Sign and trade here for the Pelicans with the Hornets. Devontae Graham, 4-year, $47 million to the Pelicans. This is an underrated move. I love this move for the Pelicans. I think it's really smart. You put a sharpshooter and a guy that can average 20 next to Zion, Brandon Ingram, Jonas Valanciunas. They need one more guard in that lineup. I think this is a pretty darn solid team, man.
Yeah, it definitely is. I agree. I like that move for the Pelicans.
Yep, without a doubt. Now, the Knicks got busy, too.
They were also busy.
They re-signed Alec Burks to a 3-year, $30 million deal. I can't believe how much this guy got paid. They re-signed Derrick Rose to a 3-year, $43 million deal. They signed Evan Fournier to a 4-year, $78 million deal. So you just add all this money to 3 guards, right? You re-signed Burks, you re-signed Rose, you bring in Fournier. RJ Barrett got to be pissed, man. You're playing this guy 40 minutes a night and you go sign someone to $20 million a year to play his position. I would be pissed if I was RJ Barrett. I think it's still his spot. Maybe he bumps to the 3. Maybe Fournier bumps to the 3. But I don't know what Fournier has done to deserve $19.5 million a year. It doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, Fournier is good, but his play with the Celtics did not warrant that. I like the move for the Knicks in the terms of talent, but again, it clashes with the position. I mean, you have RJ Barrett, shooting guard, and did you really need to go out and get Fournier? No. Maybe, like you're saying, they go small ball. Maybe one of them plays the 3. I could see maybe more RJ playing the 3 than Fournier, but I am curious to see how they make it work.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. And of course, as Tom Thibodeau has to do, he brought back Taj Gibson today for another year, because what would Tom Thibodeau do if he didn't have Taj Gibson?
Taj Gibson, yeah.
I don't know if
they're best friends, I think.
He had him on the Bulls. He had him on the Timberwolves. He has him on the Knicks. I don't know what they would do without each other, man. And Pat, a team everyone was hoping would be a little bit more active, but what can they do? They don't have a lot of money. The Nets, they get Bruce Brown back, who's a great deal. They get Blake Griffin back. Patty Mills for 2 years, which I think is a really interesting signing. One. But Bruce Brown plays the same spot, and you pay Kyrie and James Harden to play 40 minutes a night. It's a weird deal for me, but I love Patty Mills, so I'm just excited we get to watch him play one way or another.
Patty Mills is good. I like the move. Even though he probably won't get much playing time, he might if Kyrie decides to sit out again or he gets injured. Maybe he'll get a lot more playing time. But I do like the move. I like Patty.
Gary Trent, my Duke guy right here, got traded to the Raptors last season. He absolutely started balling. 3-year, $54 million. I think it's an overpay, but what else do the Raptors have? They don't have much going for them right now. You need to keep shooters around Van Fleet and Pascal Siakam. I think it just had to happen. But I think Gary Trent's absolutely an overpay. And Pat, there's a lot of overpays, man. A lot. I just want to. Caruso got like $41 million over 4 years. Kelly Olynyk got 3 years, $37 million to Detroit. Doug McDermott just signed a $14 million per year contract with the Spurs.
And he was overseas, wasn't he? Doug was playing overseas.
I think he was on the Pacers last year, I think.
Oh, was he?
But what has Doug McDermott done? You just thought he was overseas. What the hell has he done to deserve $14 million a season? This is pathetic. Like, come on, man. And I mean, it's just too much money. It's very weird. And speaking of too much money, man, Steph Curry, 4-year, $215 million extension.
He got paid
$54 million a season. What is this NBA coming to, man? This is
I know, and
crazy, man.
I thought 200 was the max. He's getting paid 15 million extra on top of that, which is unbelievable.
And a
You know,
lot of those contracts are 5-year deals. This is a 4-year.
yeah,
It's
and you know it's a
15
lot of
million.
money when 15 million seems not even substantial at all. You're like 200
Yeah.
million to 215, like they're just adding on numbers just to sweeten the pot.
And Pat, last two to run through real quick, man. Kawhi opts out. And everyone, was kind of confused because he could have signed for more money next offseason if he extended with the Clippers, if he saw this contract out.
Mm-hmm.
But he's expected to return there. Some people think it's going to be a short-term deal. No one knows what's going on in Kawhi's head. But honestly, I'm kind of sick of it. I think Kawhi needs to stop getting a pass. Kawhi gets to do whatever he wants. He gets to play when he wants. He gets to travel when he wants. And no one knows what's going on with his injuries. No one knows what's going on with his contract. I just want to know what Kawhi's up to, man. I'm too nosy about it. I'm too nosy.
He's a mysterious dude, man. I never know what's going on with that guy. He is an enigma in the NBA.
And dude, one more guy here. Andre Drummond signs a 1-year deal with the 76ers. If the 76ers couldn't figure out that Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid couldn't play together with Dwight Howard on the bench, why do you add Andre Drummond, my man? Can you imagine seeing Drummond and Embiid on the court at the same time? What is this move?
Yeah, and I don't even know what to make of it because I thought Drummond was going to work well in the Lakers, and that didn't work out well at all. So I don't even know what to think. And it's the Sixers, so I don't care.
I mean, you think you'd remember giving $25 million a year to Al Horford, but then you go get Andre Drummond. It doesn't make sense. And Pat, lastly, our Celtics, we left them for last because there isn't much to talk about. They get Juhan Begarin. I don't even know how to say his name. We draft another Frenchman. We're hoping Jan Mader comes over, other stash guy. But we get Josh Richardson and Chris Dunn. We move Tristan Thompson, Moses Brown, and the rest of that Hayward trade exception. I like that we cleared out the center position. We had way too many. Now it's just Horford, Rob Williams. I consider Grant Williams a 5 as well. But I think that the important thing here is that we're putting decent pieces around JB and JT. We're putting 3-and-D guys. We're getting guys that are physical. We're putting guys that allow Tatum to score 28 and Brown to score 24, and the rest can work around them. The Celtics have not done enough, but I don't think that this offseason has been as bad as people are making it out to seem. We haven't made the big splash, but let's not act like all these big splashes are working so far. Let's not act like Lonzo's done anything to earn $20 million. Kyle Lowry, I think we're better than the Heat still, even though they just spent $30 million on Lowry. I think that some of the moves, there's too much money going out, and I don't think that the Celtics have made a massive mistake not going out and splashing for one of these guys yet.
Yeah,
I still think there's time.
And we wanted Lonzo, but imagine paying Lonzo the deal he just got with the Bulls. I wouldn't be happy about it. I wouldn't want to pay him that much money, so it's okay. And the only other, I really like the move for Chris Dunn. What I really wanted, I think, especially, well, now we see his performance for Spain. Ricky Rubio at point guard for the C's.
I would love it.
That would be nice. But we'll probably have to settle without that.
Hey, man, who knows? The Cavs might want to move him. They got Colin Sexton, Darius Garland. Who knows?
That's true.
What they're doing
Maybe
there.
eventually.
But hopefully we can continue to get some better pieces around us, man. Now, Pat, there's a lot of NBA. We flew through a lot of it, but, we just need to get the news out to the people. They need to know who is going where. And the fact that Doug McDermott's making $14 million a year annually and I work at a part-time
makes
job,
me feel sad.
This is a problem. But, Pat, we got to move on to listener questions. As always, we get a bunch of good ones. Honestly, I don't know where this question's going from Joe B quite yet, but Braverman, as always, we love the questions. We appreciate you submitting. Shout out Let Me Speak official on IG, his podcast. But most overhyped or overrated player of all time. There's no sport here. There's no league, Pat.
It's like, I was like, are we narrowing this to, what are we narrowing this to? But if we're talking ever, I don't know.
Honestly, I think to guys that just kind of were busts, like guys that flopped, I thought of Sam Bowie back in the day because, he had Jordan and Olajuwon taking over him and he just never really panned out. I thought of Johnny Manziel
Yeah,
because
that's a good
though
one.
he was the 24th pick in the draft,
Hmm.
Johnny Manziel had more hype than like anyone coming out. And you think of like Jamarcus Russell, never
That
performed in
was
the
mine.
NFL.
If we're talking bust, Jamarcus Russell was mine.
Yeah, and Greg Oden's there, but overrated. I think when you look at like an all-time legacy perspective, I think there's a lot of really overrated players. But I don't want to go in and, hate on anyone, but I think a guy like Tracy McGrady is very overrated. I think a guy, you know,
Oh,
yeah, dude. I mean, I I think a guy like Brandon Roy is super overrated all
Brandon
time.
Roy
I
too.
think
Oh no.
I think Vince Carter is super overrated all time.
Oh man,
And
these are this is hot.
I'll tell you because those three players never won anything. They never had deep
Yeah,
playoff
it's
success and they
true.
were never healthy. If you're a journeyman and play on 4 or 5 teams at the end of your career, and I get it, you want to keep playing, you play till season 20 or whatever. But if you never reach that pinnacle, I have a hard time putting you in those top conversations. Like Ray Allen had a better career than any of those guys.
Yeah,
Any of those guys. And he was not a better player than any of them, you know? So I think we could go a lot of different directions in this conversation, but there's some definitely overhyped and overrated all-time players.
yeah. Every year there's always new ones. It's always going to be a thing, right? It's just going to be an abundance of them, especially across all sports.
That's true. That's true. Another one from Joe Braverman, man. Is Kyle Lowry the greatest Raptor ever? I'm gonna go, yeah.
He's the
That's
most storied Raptor, right? He was there pretty much his whole career until now. I think his whole career until now.
he was on the Rockets for like 4 seasons
Oh,
prior,
okay.
but then he made the move. But yeah, man, like Kawhi's the one that got them the ring, and it was DeRozan before they got the ring. But I think Lowry winning the ring, staying there years after the longevity, like you said, it seems like he's been there his whole career. I'd say he's the best Raptor ever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who else I would say. Maybe Chris Bosh.
Yeah, Bosch was an absolute beast
I
there,
guess Chris
man.
Bosh would probably be my other pick, but Lowry was there longer, and just I would probably go Lowry.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. And this is fun. It's obviously Brett. Love all the questions, man. Why did it seem like everyone was obsessed with Kyle Lowry this offseason, man? Like it was the Kyle Lowry show, dude. And it's weird. Like I said, he's 35. Kyle Lowry is not a top 10 point guard in the league, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Like you got guys like John Morant, De'Aaron Fox. Like I do not think that he should be there in that top 10. But Kyle Lowry did seem like he kind of had like a weird NBA obsession this offseason.
People just knew he wanted to be on the move or that he might be on the move, and I guess if you're looking for a decent veteran point guard, good experience, good guy to add. Now he has championship experience too.
Another one from Brett, man. Thoughts on IT4 returning to the Seas?
Oh, I would love
There's
it.
been some
Just as a
rumors.
bench guy. And what was
Yeah.
our guy Keith Smith on Twitter that
Yeah.
we followed because of Adam Taylor? He was saying, the good karma that we would get for having him back and just having him on the bench and giving him another opportunity. We need that good karma, and I would love it.
Yeah, the locker room would absolutely love it, and I think the team as a whole could benefit it.
The fans would love it too.
And Brad loves IT. He
Yeah.
made IT, man. So I would like to see it.
That would be cool.
Question from Scotty Howe. Shout out Westfield, man. Is Westbrook higher than CP3 on the all-time point guards list? This is very hard. I don't know. I think that he will be when it's all said and done. We take Russell Westbrook for granted.
Mhm.
MVP, scoring titles, assist titles. His average triple doubles in like 4 of the last 5 seasons, and no one seems to care. The only other person to ever do it is Oscar Robertson. I think Russ is an all-time great. I'm going to say it. Yeah, I think Westbrook is higher than CP on the all-time list.
I don't think I can because I think 2 weeks ago when the playoffs were still going on, I was saying how if CP3 won a ring, he'd be like top 5 point guards ever. Like I think I was at that point, and he's already in my top 10.
He didn't win.
He didn't. But he's still in my top 10, and I don't think Russ would be in my top 10, even though he is the all-time triple-doubles leader. I mean, it's a tough argument to make. I agree with you. I think Russ will probably be above him in the end. It just depends how it plays out. Like if Russ wins a ring with the Lakers, regardless of it being, a super team, air quotes, then at that point, a ring is pretty much what's going to determine it.
I agree. That definitely makes sense. My brother's girlfriend, Karina, what newly added Olympic sports have you been most interested in? It actually hasn't happened yet, but I've said it on the podcast. Rock climbing's in for the first time, so that's mine. I can't
Mhm.
wait to watch speed climbing, track climbing. I can't wait to watch rock climbing in the Olympics. It's gonna be so much fun.
Rock climbing is cool. That's a good because I feel like it could develop too, and there's going to be some really cool athletes to come through. Mine would be skateboarding. I talked about it
Yeah.
last week or the week before. The outfits are sweet. There was a 12-year-old competing. It's like other sports, you don't get that. Skateboarding, it's crazy. The talent, I mean, just like gymnastics, the talent gets younger and younger. The prime is probably younger. And we've obviously had skateboarding and stuff in the X Games forever, but now it's in the Olympics, and it's cool to see nations going against each other on like a skate park. It's pretty cool.
It really is, man. That is pretty dope. Matt Bird, love the question, man. He's a Chelsea fan, Pat. So be nice to Chelsea here, but predict the top four in the Premier League. I'm gonna be boring here. It's the same top four. I won't say the order, even though I think City's gonna win it, but it's City, Liverpool, Man U, and Chelsea. I mean, I don't see Leicester in there. I don't see Arsenal in there. I certainly don't see Tottenham in there. I It's a boring answer, but
And
I
is
think
that
it's the
your
same.
order too? That's so Man U 3, Chelsea 4.
I'll lock it in. I'll lock it in. Yeah, City, Liverpool, Man U, Chelsea.
Yeah, my only thing is seeing how Man U adjusts because they just got they just got the
Jadon
new
Sancho and
Jadon
Rafael
Sancho
Varane.
and Varane. So the back line is now Harry Maguire and Varane. So we'll see how they do together at center back. Maybe they have to feel each other out. Jadon Sancho, we'll see how he plays out as well. I mean, crazy signings, big signings. We don't know where Harry Kane's gonna go. He's holding out from training right now. He's not even showing up to Tottenham. If
I love
City
it.
sign him, I mean, I'm gonna have City one anyways. But if they signed Kane, it's just a done deal. But if someone else snatched up Kane, then that might increase their chances. But I'm actually gonna go. I think I'll go just to switch it up. I'll go City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man U.
There's
In that
reports
order.
going right now. Chelsea is offering 120 million for Romelu Lukaku from Inter.
That would be
Apparently,
sweet.
Inter
Timo Werner
turned
ain't working out, huh?
Inter turned down 100 million and Marcos Alonso, so they're up in the offer. I guess they want Lukaku back.
I feel like they could do Werner. Like at this point, if you're bailing out on him and you really want Lukaku, just send Werner over there.
I'm saying if you're offering 120 mil, you may as well offer the 150 for Holland. That's what I would do if I was Chelsea. I
True.
mean, go
Good
get
point.
All right, man. Mike Brett, one of my former bosses at Westfield. Thoughts on the U.S. men's team post Gold Cup? I mean, this team's looking great, Pat. We talked about it earlier. Not much
Yeah,
else to say, but the
promising.
depth is there. They're winning trophies and they're getting the experience. It's super exciting.
Promising, definitely.
We gotta shout out Matt Robles as always. How's Marino gonna do at Roma? They played a Serie D team, fourth tier in Italy, in their first preseason game. They won 10-0. So I'm feeling good about Jose's debut.
Well, they just had there was like a fight over there recently. I think like involving Henrik Mkhitaryan, and I forget what happened. I can't remember even like if it was between the team or between two teams. But Mourinho was on the sideline laughing. So that's pretty funny. Like Mourinho just sits on the side. I think he'll do pretty well, but that's Mourinho for you. He just sat there just like with a snicker.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know how many more top jobs this guy's gonna get after ruining team after team, but we'll see. My girl Delaney, shout out D. She said Laura Cheney versus Drew Holiday. Who's more athletic? If y'all don't know, they're married. Laura Cheney, she plays for the U.S. Women's National Soccer Team. Drew Holiday, NBA World Champ with the Bucks right now. D, I feel like you set me up for a trap question here. I can't lie. Like Drew Holiday's 6'4". Laura Cheney's 5'8". I feel like if we're just going like all around athlete, like I have to go with the 6'4", super cut, defined, ripped basketball player that can jump out the gym and is as quick as anyone. Like
Yeah.
I want to be nice, but I feel like it's not even close, Pat.
I don't know. But if you line Lauren up with Drew for a race or even just a jog, like Lauren's gonna do better. Like she's probably in better shape than Drew. I mean, she's running on a soccer pitch for 90 minutes or 120 minutes.
But to me, athletic just means all around, like if we're doing multiple
Body
events,
type. Yeah. Yeah.
if we're lifting, if we're running, if we're doing this, if we're doing that, like I got to go with the guy that's 6'4", that's wicked
Yeah.
jacked and wicked athletic,
Well,
like
Lauren's
I
definitely
don't know.
got him beat on the accomplishments front because she has a World Cup. She's got like 2 Olympic gold medals, and Drew did just get an NBA championship, but Lauren's accomplishments are more impressive.
Hey, one of them's gonna get an Olympic gold this year, and the other's not. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, that's fair. That is a fair point.
This reminds me of when Dom Dwyer was saying, he's like, we're gonna get like the US a World Cup, and his wife played for the women's team. It was like, we already have one in the living room. Like,
Yeah, it's already there. So sorry, Dom. And now
Right,
Dom ain't there anymore. So
Pat, we normally end the listener questions with an animal matchup, but we don't have one this week. But from Brett, he said, F animals. He said, give me Spartan versus Samurai 1-on-1. This is straight deadly as a warrior, Pat. Spartan Samurai 1-on-1. Who you got?
I'm gonna go Samurai because it's the precision. It's not about brute strength. I mean, if they got the sword, they're gonna over a Spartan with a shield and a spear or something, along those lines. Or even if it's just sword v sword, I think Samurai is gonna be quicker, and I think they're gonna have more precision in a straight up 1v1 fight.
I agree with the quickness and precision. And also, I feel like a samurai is dressed in some sort of armor or plating, head to toe. Everything's covered. And I feel like a Spartan is just out here rocking in a cape and a girdle. Maybe that's just my thought from 300 and watching it. But I do feel like we got an advantage with that 10-foot pole. I feel like we got that spear, that lance out there. But I want to say samurai, and I'm going to say samurai just because it's 1-on-1. But give me that 5-on-5. You talk about some teamwork and formations. My Spartans are on block on that. And I feel like if they were just armored up, it would be a different story. But what can you do with just flesh exposed everywhere against a dude as quick with a katana like a samurai? That's tough, man.
Well, in true Deadliest Warrior fashion, they would be in their full garb. So at that point, I guess it would get a lot closer.
Yeah, man, dude. We got to go back and watch some of those episodes. That's a GOAT show right there.
Some good ones.
I love it. All right, Pat, man, we're wrapping it up. I don't know how long we've been going, but it feels like we've been cruising through. But, before we get on to what we've learned, we got to get a little ad from Book Thinkers as always. So do you read personal development books? If so, you got to check out Book Thinkers, a company dedicated to helping you fulfill your life through books. And every single day on Instagram and every week on their podcast, the team over at Book Thinkers is helping you discover new books and new mentors that you can use to achieve more and live better. The right book can absolutely change your life at the right time. So please find out more. Head over to Instagram, type in Book Thinkers, go to www.bookthinkers.com, learn about this team, learn about their mission, find a new good book to read. That's the message we got for you today. Please check them out. But now, Pat, let's get on to what we've learned. What you learned this week, Pat?
I learned that we were very wrong. We said Lakers, Nets, I think both unanimously for finals this year. Didn't happen. Didn't even come close to happening. Nets came close. Lakers were not even close. But we were wrong. But after the start to free agency, I think we could say it now, and we might be right for next year because the Nets are going to be the same. They got Patty Mills. They kept Blake Griffin. And then the Lakers added all the players that they added, including Russell Westbrook. I think it's not safe to say. I mean, there's a lot of talent in the league, but I think it's a fair statement to say it's going to be a Lakers-Nets final. And I won't put it in stone, but I will say that's I think you could make that statement right now.
I was going to say, put it in stone, Pat. Make a bet right now. Go put some money on.
Couldn't have put any of my picks in stone this year, so I certainly won't do it now.
I'm with you. Those two rosters are looking scary, and it's gonna obviously there's a lot left to do before the off season's over. But on paper, right now, I would agree with you. Those two rosters look like it. Pat, what I learned this week after watching the U.S. men's team win the Gold Cup and seeing the new FIFA rankings as of August 1st, that has the U.S. as the 9th best team in the world, Mexico at 10, which was just so beautiful to see them right behind us. The U.S. is a top 10 team in the world. This is not something I thought I would be saying yet, but we have a legit chance in the next World Cup in Qatar to go to the quarterfinals. We could make it to that top 8. Dare I say the semifinals, the top 4. I don't want to get too excited about the U.S. men's national team, but two trophies within like a month and a half of each other with, Pat, I got to tell you, 2 totally different rosters. These rosters look nothing like each other. We're building the depth. We're building the confidence. And man, the U.S. is now a top 10 team in the world. That's what I learned this week, which I did not think I'd be saying.
I didn't either. And I actually just looked it up because I was curious what the highest ranking we ever got was. And it was heading into the 2006 World Cup, which we did terribly at, 2 defeats and a draw. But we were ranked number 4 in the FIFA rankings heading into the 2006 World Cup. I don't know, but we clearly didn't deserve it because after the World Cup, we plummeted to 31. But we've since 2006, we've worked our way back up pretty steadily from 31 all the way to 9. So
someone at FIFA was drinking heavy that day, man. They just said, "Oh, let's just toss them in for fun, man." That don't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense. We didn't even have we had Landon Donovan and Dempsey, but they weren't at their primes yet.
Goat Tim Howard back in the day, man. Miss Tim Howard. Does a great job broadcasting for the Premier League.
I know. We didn't even have Tim Howard in this one either, so yeah, I don't know who we have.
Yeah, I have no idea. But Pat, that's episode number 32. Can't believe it's already been 32, man. We got Olympics. We got a crazy week of NBA trades and free agency. There's things going on a mile a minute, but always fun to talk about it. Hop on here with you, man. And just to say thank you to all the listeners out there. And we appreciate every like, comment, subscription, review, anything you guys can do for us. Please, if there's anything you could do for us, just send this podcast to that one sports fan or sports lover that hasn't listened to it. Yes, just try to spread the message a little bit. And we appreciate y'all. As always, we don't take your time for granted, man. So thank you for spending this time with us on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever you're listening to it, man. We appreciate it. We have so much fun doing it, man. We're laughing, smiling this whole time. So thank you. That's what I got to say.
Yeah, Chandler nails it every week, and I just have to concur. I'm like, you heard the man, so thank you guys. We appreciate it.
I talk too much, Pat. I gotta
not at all. You know? No, sometimes I do. Sometimes I talk over, so it happens. But thank you guys. We'll talk to you next week.
You are listening to Right Off the Bus.